Ms. Gillian, do you have any idea where the general is?
Thank you. I'm informed by my instructing attorney that he deviated to the bathroom.
Thank you. General, we've just been informed that please do the bathroom duties a good few minutes before the starting time.
Will do, and my apologies, Chair. I never thought you were already seated, so I really apologize.
If I say past, we usually come in 2 minutes before the time.
I apologize profusely, Chair.
But this time we came in at past, so.
I really apologize, Chair.
Apology accepted, General.
Thank you, Chair. It won't happen again, Chair.
Thank you.
General, before the adjournment, I was asking about whether you're aware of any prescripts that govern the SAPS and sharing of information, confidential information.
Yes, Chair. I am aware. Chair.
Were you aware at the time when you did share this information?
I was aware, Chair, but to as far as I'm concerned, I was aware that a confidential document that is already out in the public space is not really, it doesn't carry the same weight as if it is not in the public space. Because once the cat is out of the sack, it doesn't carry the same weight. It's no longer really as confidential as confidential.
Is that according to your prescripts?
It is the way it is.
And would you agree that if a story is in the public domain, so, you know, a journalist writing about that there's an audit, that this journalist is aware that an audit has been conducted and that recommendations have been made, but there's a delay in acting on the recommendations, but doesn't actually circulate the journalist, or the article doesn't actually contain the audit report itself, right? If it doesn't do that, in those circumstances, is it appropriate? Is it still in the public domain? And can you still circulate it?
Once it is with the public domain.
Once the report is with the journalist.
Yeah, and especially when the journalist is using it and to make inquiries, the confidentiality thereof is already broken.
But if the journalist hasn't circulated it in the public domain, so journalists often come across confidential documents that they report on, but they don't share the actual documents. So if the actual document is not shared, you're saying it doesn't matter, the fact that it's known.
From the user, who was supposed to keep it secret, the user, the only person who marked it, and then he used it to the National Commissioner or to me or to any other person who is part of the discussion or to whose attention it must go. That person, those people remain confidential. It remains a confidential document. But the moment it's let out now to a journalist, and the journalist who's beginning to make inquiries about it, already the confidentiality is broken. So now, as far as I'm concerned, there was nothing wrong on my part to share with a colleague of the same organization on a document whose confidentiality has already been broken.
Ordinarily, that would make sense somewhat. But in this instance, it cannot. In this instance, rather, it cannot, because you've already accepted when I engaged you earlier that here you actually foresaw that probably Sergeant Nkosi would share this document with Mr. Madlanga. You accept that?
Chair, please make me understand the question.
When I engaged you,
hear the
yes.
question, I'm just trying to
Yes.
understand properly, Chair.
When I engaged you earlier, do you remember asking that? You did realize that in all probability, Sergeant Nkosi would share this document with Mr. Madlanga because of their proximity. Do you remember saying so when I engaged you?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. So now I'm saying your response to Ms. Hassim cannot make sense because you cannot say this was sharing between two police officers. I say this wouldn't make sense here because you actually foresaw the probability, not even just possibility, the probability of Sergeant Nkosi sharing this document with Mr. Madlanga. You've already admitted it, so
No, if the chair say, I foresaw that you will share it with Mr. Madlanga,
yes.
it's something else. But
Okay, maybe let me take out foresee and use words that are as close as possible to what I said when I engaged you before the tea break. I said probably Sergeant Nkosi, on your understanding of the proximity between Sergeant Nkosi and Mr. Madlanga, Sergeant Nkosi would probably share this document with Mr. Madlanga. You accepted that before the tea break, correct? Be careful not to change what you said earlier.
no.
That probability.
No, Chair. Remember, Chair, even if I said that initially, it doesn't mean that in everything that follows that I shall have shared with Nkosi, it means that everything was meant to be shared with
Please
Mr.
don't try to anticipate where I'm going. Please don't try to anticipate. Do you accept that before the tea break, you accepted the probability that Sergeant Nkosi would share the document with Mr. Madlanga? Do you accept that?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. So now what I'm saying is you cannot now, in response to Ms. Hassim, say this was sharing subs officer to subs officer because you've already accepted that there was a probability that the document would be shared with Mr. Madlanga. So you cannot just stop at sharing subs officer to subs officer because there is the probability that you accept. Is that correct?
It's correct, Chair.
It must be. Yes, Ms. Hassim.
Thank you, Chair.
Advocacy,
I mean,
can
what
add-
makes it
sorry,
problematic?
Advocacy, can I add one thing to what Chair has said? The other thing about this document is that it concerned Mr. Madlanga himself. It concerned Mr. Madlanga's company. So it's different from any other documents. This one, the expectation would be that because it is dealing with Mr. Madlanga's company, Captain Nkosi would share it with him. You must have expected that.
Can I ask, Chair? You know, Chair, if we are close, maybe in this case, Chair, I want to say if I'm close with maybe the three commissioners, and one of the commissioners is very close to a particular person, and then we know that here is something that we're reading on the news about this person. And then I say, hey, see what is coming or what is happening on this person because it's from the newspaper. This is what is going to be on Sunday newspaper, City Press and whatever. It has become a norm or normal for people to share something they see about a specific person. Many people see a lot of things about me. Sometimes they share it with my wife, sometimes they will share among themselves, but others know that it will reach me. So I must just accept, Chair, that it happened. It may be reckless or negligent or an oversight, but it happened that way. And I don't know now this time, I must say, as far as I'm concerned, it is just that the risk is not as I was sharing it myself in a meeting, from a meeting that I was sitting in to Mr. Madlanga. It was a question of now, it comes from the journalist, it's already in the public, the cat is already out, and now sharing it with a colleague really wouldn't carry the same risk as the original risk.
Can I say
Is the
first
answer
of all,
yes? I think before we leave this, the answer must be yes. You had no reason to believe that he won't share it with Mr. Madlanga.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Sorry.
you see, General, here's my difficulty with your insistence about sharing between police officers. I would understand your point if you had shared with Sergeant Zulu of Matatiele, whom you knew not to have any connection whatsoever with Mr. Madlanga. I would understand your point. But here, you knew that you were sharing with Sergeant Gosi, who has a certain proximity with Mr. Madlanga, and you have accepted that there was, to your knowledge, a probability that Sergeant Gosi would share with Mr. Madlanga. That's the difficulty I have with your insistence about sharing between subs member and subs member. You may comment if you wish to. I made the point earlier and you accepted it.
Yeah.
I was just making a follow-up to, again, your response to my colleague, Commissioner Khumalo.
Since the Chair said I may comment if I so wish to, can I take this opportunity to comment?
Yes.
Chair, just to say that if I shared it with a Sergeant Zulu from somewhere that I don't know, it should be concerning. Why did you share it with Zulu? Because you're not. Why? What would be the reason with Zulu? Why Zulu? But now with
that actually buttresses my point. Then that doesn't assist you.
I'm trying to come somewhere, Chair.
All right.
But
Let's
with
see.
Nkosi, I do know that he knows Mr. Madlanga.
Yes.
And that is maybe probably why I sent it to him. But if at the ultimate Chair, the Chair is going to rule, and then and even when the Chair, the assess evidence is in the Chair's hands. So it doesn't really matter. What mine is just to accept that the Chair's pointings, I must also regard it as guidance.
Yeah, let's leave it at your acceptance more than once. Your acceptance that there was, to your knowledge, a probability that Sergeant Gosi would share with Mr. Madlanga. Yes, Ms. Hasim.
Sir, can I just ask my question? General, if it was in the public domain, as you say, why would you need to share it with Sergeant Gosi? He has access to the same public space as you.
It's because, Chair, Commissioner, it's because at that point in time, I think, because it was at a point where it was still between whoever sent it to the journalist and myself. And then I think this is what could have happened because it was not yet in the Sunday newspaper.
No, but you couldn't have thought that, General, because you got the question from the journalist, you forwarded it to generals, and there was a response to it, responding to the journalist, Mr. Mashiko, from your Ms. Nonkululeko Pokane, and all of that you forwarded to Sergeant Nkosi. So you knew the SAPS communication was dealing with it, so your answer can be that because it was still between whoever and the journalist, you knew that the SAPS is officially dealing with it. And so that cannot be a reason. You couldn't have shared it for the sake of sharing it. You have to be sharing it for another reason because you knew that the SAPS is dealing with it.
Commissioner, I thought I responded when I said because it was with a journalist already, even though I knew SAPS was dealing with it, SAPS was responding. And the fact that it was with a journalist and SAPS responded to it, it's already in a public space. If it was not the same topic, a different topic within a report, from my angle I would understand. But now we are talking about one and the same thing that was sent to a journalist, the journalist from the journalist to the SAPS communications. Now SAPS communications have communicated. Now I know that this thing is already public because it's going to come. Normally when they run the story, they don't wait for Sunday. They also run it online. So
Yes.
that is what I'm saying.
No, but exactly my point. It is already in the public domain. Sergeant Gossi has access to the same public domain. Why do you need to send it to him? Unless you thought this is still internal, which is the problem that is being discussed with you, that you thought it is internal, he's not aware of it, and so you share with him to alert him to something that is still internal. That's the one possibility. But going with your version, which is, well, it was in the public domain, so I was free to share it. I did nothing wrong because it was already out there. It necessarily raises the question, well, if it's in the public domain, as you say, why are you sharing it with Sergeant Gossi? Because he has access to the same public domain. Remember, your story is, it was in the public domain. This report that is marked confidential, you say it was already in the public domain. So you either correct it was in the public domain, and I'm going to ask you, why do you say it was in the public domain? So you're either correct it was in the public domain, in which case you have to have had a good reason why you're sharing it with Sergeant Gossi, because it is in the public domain, this confidential document. Or it wasn't in the public domain, that's why you share it with Sergeant Gossi. And you share it with the expectation he will share with Mr. Madlanga. In fact, I want to place it higher than that you share it with the anticipation that he will share it with Mr. Madlanga. But let me go back and break it up. Why do you share it with Sergeant Gossi?
I think, Chair, to be fair, people circulate messages, TikTok messages that are in the public domain, but they share them anyway among one
General,
another.
I'm not talking about people and I'm not talking about messages in general. I think you have to answer directly the question because otherwise we end up losing a lot of time. My question is a direct question. You send a document marked confidential. It's an SAPS document. You say, but it was in the public domain. And I engage you on that basis to say, well, if it's in the public domain, why did you send it to Sergeant Gossi, who has access to the same public space?
The point I'm also trying to raise, Commissioner, is that when there is a message that has been circulating, that is out in the public domain, people share them anyway.
General, you're avoiding to answer my question. Let me ask you my next question. Why do you say this was in the public domain? Where do we see that it was in the public domain?
As far as I'm concerned, if I'm not the author of this document, and none of us knew about this document, But this document found itself where the confidentiality has been broken, sent to a particular journalist.
Why do you say that? Why do you say this document was sent to a journalist? We have the question that was sent to you, and maybe let me try and move it forward. The question doesn't include an attachment of this document.
Yes.
So you do have the question from Mr. Mashiko. It doesn't have an attachment to it.
Commissioner, can I just add to that before you
Sorry,
close
Chair.
your question?
Sorry, Chair.
So I just want to draw something to your
No,
attention.
I want to raise a point as well that I want to raise. You know, Chair, Commissioner Baloyi asked me a question. And whilst I'm responding to the question, just to proceed, then jumps in and then say, no, General, then takes it further and continue on this one. Now I'm trying to also respond, then just as I'm listening to this one, then she comes in and says, just on the same point. All I'm asking is, let me not be overwhelmed by the fact that now respond to this, and then all the communications. Commissioner Balu, I'm trying to be fair to you as well, as you are the person who's here to ask me questions on probe. I must respond, but I'm just asking one favor. That when you ask me a question, allow me to respond and finish as well.
Yes. General, I gave you a chance to answer my question. I asked you the same question twice, thrice, and you're telling me about how people communicate and distribute things, even after I said to you, don't tell me about how other people communicate. Don't tell me about other things that get distributed. Tell me about this which we are discussing. You were repeating, we don't have the whole day. I have only limited time to ask you questions. I accept your answer. If you don't want to answer a question and you prefer to go the long way, I don't think you have a license to be indulged to speak as long as you want and to answer irrelevant things. I didn't ask you about what people do. I asked you about your explanation for distributing this to Sejin, because it's a direct question. And if you repeat it the third time, I'm sorry, I'm not going to allow you to keep on doing that. And you can keep complaining about me. I will ask you my questions. I'm going to repeat my question before we get to Ms. Hassan. General, I'm going to ask you my question again. And I will interrupt you if you don't give me a direct answer. My question to you is, this document that you say you circulated, you gave to Sergeant Nkosi because it was in the public domain. My question to you is, if it is in the public domain to which Sergeant Nkosi has access to, why do you send him this document? That's my question. That's my first question to you. So maybe try and answer, and we'll come back to Ms. Hassan on my second question.
My question is this, Chair. If the document is already out there in the wild, I take it that the cat is already out of the
Like the impalas.
of the sack. You see, what I don't want to say. I don't want to say she's being arrogant, but she's
just making a joke
no,
with
you
you, that's
started
what
it, but. Chair, we need to really respect each other and try to be modest with one another in a platform like this and be professional. So if she goes that way, I'm going to take the different route as well, and it's not what we want. So please give me the same respect as well, and let's do it professionally. Now, my answer is, sharing it internally with colleagues wouldn't really be carry the same risk as it was initially. So I have shared it with General Nkosi. If the chair rules that I wasn't supposed to, I will accept that as well, Chair, without me having to go deeper into the subject. If I was not supposed to have, as far as I'm concerned, it was out in the public space, and sharing it with a colleague wouldn't carry the same weight as if it never was.
Okay, let me ask my second question then. Why do you say this document was in the public domain?
Like I indicated earlier, that the moment from the writer to the journalist and to the communicators already, and then back to the journalist, already the cat is out of the sack.
Okay. We have the question from the journalist here. It doesn't include an attachment, so we know that this document was not, at least from this message, the document was not attached to the question addressed to you. Why do you say it was in the public domain if it wasn't attached to the question?
Personally, this document, this one, I never got it myself because I still don't have a report even now. So this document, the questions of the journalist, I think, relates to this, if I'm sure. But I'm not so sure because I don't have anything that I can refer to myself. I'm just following the line of questioning with what I see. So I say these questions were already in the public space because there are those that I can show the report.
Okay. Let me stop you. Maybe you have answered me. You are saying these questions were in the public domain. You're not saying the document was in the public domain. Because that's what you've just said now. You've just said these questions were in, I never got the document myself. That's what you say. You say, I never got the document myself. These questions were in the public domain. So I want to clarify so that I'm not unfair to you. You are saying these questions, when you say it was in the public domain, you mean these questions were already in the public domain. Is that what you mean?
As you were asking a question, Commissioner Baloyi, I was in my mind. I was thinking of a report of the Inspector General of Intelligence on allegations against, where he mentioned allegations on individuals, but it was out in the public domain. But in the meantime, you were asking, so I missed the question.
My question is, and it's on the back of what you've just said. You've said now, these questions, in fact, you've said two things. You've said you yourself never received this report, this audit report. That's one thing you say. And then you say these questions from the journalist were in the public domain. So I'm seeking to clarify, therefore, that when you've been engaging with the chair, with Commissioner Khumalo, with Ms. Hassim, and you say it was in the public domain, you mean the questions were in the public domain. Is that what you meant?
Yes, Chair. And the other concern that I'm just having on this document, I wanted to see whether is it a forwarded message also to me, or where does it come from? Because it's just a clean page but you don't see that it come from a particular.
Do this, General. Pull out that page, and then go to page 232. But remember to put it back once you've answered the question.
Go to page.
Pull out that audit report recommendations page.
Yeah, to page.
And then go to page 232 in the same file. That's where your WhatsApps are.
So, General, if you go to page 232, and this would have assisted you, I was trying to assist you earlier when I said, let me add something here. If you look at those messages, go to page 232. Okay? You'll see that there's a string of messages that are sent to you. The first is the query by the journalist, and that's in chat number 4. The second is in chat number 5, and this, which we dealt with, I took you to this, from Major General Pokani. She says, "Good morning, General, Lieutenant Generals." So she is only addressing herself now to the senior management, right, within the service. And she says, kindly find the above media query received. I will engage the relevant division, etc. And then over the page we went, and she says, she forwards then the message, her response to Mr. Matefo. If you see that, number 1. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, you're following the thread that I'm taking you to, because it's a set of messages that Major General Pokane forwarded to you, including this one, her response to the journalist. She says it's an internal matter and we reserve our comments. And then finally an attachment, and that's in number 2, chat number 2, if on page 233, if you have a look at it. Right?
Yes.
Now, because that is hard to read, the attachment needs to be, it's an attachment, as you know, to a chat. And so what you're looking at, the big page, is that image. Okay, so this was forwarded by General Pokane. And she's sending it to the senior management, general and lieutenant generals, because she obviously wants you to be put in a position to understand where these questions are coming from.
Are we able to see to who of the senior management was this sent to?
We don't know. All we know is that she sent it to Good Morning General and Lieutenant Generals. So I suppose all of the Lieutenant Generals would have received it, and the General.
Well, I'm not sure to say all the Lieutenant Generals, because all the Lieutenant Generals, even the one in the provinces, are Lieutenant Generals. So I'm just saying...
Oh, I'm sure it was at head office that this was being dealt with.
But General Sibiya, we know it was sent to you. So
From
let's
Pokane.
not worry about 20 other generals. From this, we can tell that it's been sent to you. So you are one of the generals, however many. Maybe there were 5, maybe there were 10, maybe there were 15. The point is, you were one of the recipients. And that's how it finds its way into these chats that we are looking at. So let's not go to the northwest. Let's stick to where we are.
I wanted to check where it says good morning, Lieutenant General, so and Lieutenant Generals, whether my name is there.
General
Well,
Sibiya, just looking at these chats, we can see that it reached you because you sent it to Captain Ngozi.
Yeah.
You wouldn't send it to Captain Ngozi if you didn't have it. Sergeant Ngozi, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. Because the only way you can send it to Sergeant Ngozi is if you have it. If you don't have it, you can't send it to him.
No, it's why I'm asking, it could have also been forwarded to me, not necessarily coming from Ms. Pokane, General Pokane. It could have been also sent to me, but nevertheless, I take the point. Commissioners, I can respond to the next question or your question.
What I'm putting to you is that What I'm putting to you is that Major General Pokane sent you the attachment. And it seems she probably sent it to all of the senior management. So why do you say it was in the public domain? This didn't come from the journalist to you.
I don't know. I don't know whether I received it from a journalist or from Major Pokane, but I will accept that I received it from Pokane. If I received it maybe from General Pokane, and obviously having received an inquiry from the public, I mean from an inquiry from the journalist, and maybe I shared it with Ngozi. To me, I never intended it to go there. For him to disseminate. But if he did share it, I will also accept that one.
Okay, I think we've already covered the ground of you sharing, you knew that he would communicate with Mr. Matlala. And the worrying thing, which is where I wanted to go to with this, is that you are sending a document that is about the cancellation of a contract with a service provider to Sergeant Nkosi, knowing it will get to that service provider. So it's not just any member of the public that's receiving it, it's the person who is affected by that internal SAPS document. And that's the concern. Do you see that?
I do.
I'm going to move off this to, well, not entirely off it, because what happens next is you'll see that, let's get the right page, it's file 9, I'm afraid.
I don't know if you are still going to touch on this, and if you are, please stop me, Ms. Hasim. General, to my mind, the timing of this is quite important because the contract was cancelled in June of 2025. May of 2025. I'm thinking of the award. The award was in June of the previous year. So the cancellation was in May 2025. And these chats are in March of 2025. So in a situation where you see the probability of these documents, these chats, these communications reaching Mr. Matlala through Sergeant Nkosi, you were basically sharing, and I suggest this to you, you were basically sharing with Sergeant Nkosi to alert Mr. Matlala as to what was happening. And what was happening, with hindsight now, eventually resulted in the cancellation of the contract. So you are upfront alerting Mr. Matlala through Sergeant Nkosi. You are basically saying, hey, be aware, there's trouble brewing. That is what I'm suggesting to you.
I'm just trying to read what is contained in the page 300. The
audit report suggests that there were irregularities in the award of the contract.
Yes.
So naturally, that can quite easily lead to the cancellation of the contract. In fact, that audit report says in so many words that there should be a termination. So I'm suggesting to you that you were indirectly alerting Mr. Matlala through Sergeant Nkosi that, look, there's trouble brewing here.
In my case, Chair, I was not indirectly informing Mr. Matlala, I was sharing with Nkosi. That is what I can say.
I will leave it at that because you've already accepted when I engaged you earlier that, to your knowledge, there was a probability that through Sergeant Nkosi, these communications would end up reaching Mr. Matlala. I will leave it at that.
General, can you go to file 9, page 1040, please?
File 9, page
1040. Actually, it starts at 1039. Can we start there? It's at the bottom of 1039 is where it starts. It's chat number 5. Now, this is the conversation between Sergeant Nkosi and General Shibiri. what happens here is Sergeant Nkosi forwards the same set of messages we've already read that came from General Pukani, okay? The set of four messages, including the attachment of the last page of the audit report. I just want to make sure you see that.
That General Shibiri sent to Nkosi.
That, no, that Sergeant Nkosi sent to General Shibiri.
Okay.
Okay, so he now forwards what you sent him. He sends it to General Shibiri, okay? And then you'll see at chat number 4 on page 1040. General Shibiri says, good morning when he sees this. Good morning, is too bad.
Chat number?
4.
Yes.
Is too bad. Now, I accept that this is a conversation between Sergeant Nkosi and General Shibiri, but it is a theme that seems to be emerging here of the communications between you, the three players that are present as at 14 September 2024. General Shibiri, yourself, and Sergeant Nkosi, and of course, Mr. Matlala in the midst of all of it. So I'm pointing out to you that here's another pattern here of communication that is now involving General Shibiri. And General Shibiri's response to this is that it's too bad. What knowledge do you have of General Shibiri's involvement with Mr. Matlala and his interest in this contract?
I don't know if General Shibiri's got any interest in Mr. Matlala's contract, but I do know that they know each other. Yes. But in terms of the pattern of the three of us, myself, Mr. General Shibiri, and Nkosi, I'm not so sure whether in that what was found in Nkosi's phone only included me, Shibiri, and Nkosi, and no one else. Because now a picture has been painted here of only the three conspirators, 3 people only, whereas Nkosi had many others.
Accept this. On matters relating to Mr. Matlala, the pattern that emerges from the WhatsApps is of the 3 of you. There may very well be discussions with other generals on many other things, but on matters relating to Mr. Matlala, that's what the pattern shows. Just so that you limit it to that and we don't talk about every general except.
I don't know if the commissioner has the benefit of the communication of Mr. Nkosi's phone and any other general.
Yes, we do.
In relation to the same matter.
Well, we have everything from Sergeant Nkosi's phone, so we do have sight into his conversations with other people, including other lieutenant generals.
That's fine. Let me leave it there.
You see, you send this message to Sergeant Nkosi, and you know that, let me just put it this way, that he will probably send it to Mr. Matlala, or he may send it to Mr. Matlala. You haven't said why you sent it to Captain Sergeant Nkosi. You say you just sent it to him, but there must be a reason why you sent it. There's an interest in that contract.
I did respond that is because I saw something about someone that we all know.
Okay, and then the same sharing of information involves General Shibiri, and he says it's too bad. Now, one would think, I want to know if you would agree with me, that if you are a senior member of the police service and you see an audit report that raises very serious concerns. Well, let me start. Do you agree that the audit report raises very serious concerns regarding Mr. Matlala's contract?
I do.
And if those, well, the recommendations should be acted on? Upon?
Yes.
But what General Shibiri says here is it's too bad, suggesting that he has sympathy for Mr. Matlala rather than maybe actually outraged that Mr. Matlala would have conducted himself in a manner that brought him within the purview of the audit in the way it did.
I'm trying to understand your question in terms of the outrage.
Well, what I'm saying is General Shibiri says it's too bad,
Yes.
which sounds like he is sympathetic towards Mr. Matlala's plight
Yes.
rather than concerned for the SAPS.
Yes.
And the consequences of an irregular, all of the irregularity, right, that the audit report showed. That would be a problem, right?
Yes, but when a person says that's too bad, sometimes you empathize with a person, sometimes you sympathize with a person, sometimes it will be it's too bad that it had to happen, but if it must happen, let it happen. So this is how we responded. I mean, we don't all have a channeled way of responding or same mindset that says, and this is under this situation, this is how you must or you will react.
So you're saying that it's possible actually what General Shibiri meant here was just that this is a bad outcome.
So this is too bad. It's unfortunate.
Perhaps more importantly, General, you are very, very, very close to Sergeant Ngosi. You have told us so in your statement, and we see from the kind of material that you're exchanging and things that you're asking him to do. Why would, and I ask the question because you're quite close to Sergeant Ngosi, why would he share this about, and all of it is about Mr. Matlala and his contract?